Hi, I'm David Bianco. Welcome back. If you've not been here before, I welcome you to my channel. So today I'm going to do something a little reflective. I've been thinking a lot recently about the fact that there are so many times when I hear a song that I haven't heard in forever, I immediately remember a lot about it. I remember the lyrics, I remember the tune, I remember the artist, I remember the label, I remember the year. Part of it's because I was a DJ, but why is it that I can recall so much from that? Well, what is causing that? So I started to do a little research, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. The psychology of music and our brains. And that's coming up next on The Sound of Safe and Sound, Texas. Have you ever thought about why so many of us still love the music from our youth? You know, the songs that when you hear them, you immediately recall the lyrics and the tune, even though you literally might not have heard that song in 20 years. It's a reasonable question to ask, and I often follow it with, and why is it that as I've aged, I simply consider the music of my youth to be superior to any music of today? Well, in 2008, the University of Leeds did a study and came to determine that between the ages of 12 and 22, we become the people we are today. So that means we become who we are during our teen years, and those memories are most strongly planted in our minds. In essence, that journey represents our path from childhood to adulthood. That's why we often have such an instant recall of the events of our youth, while at the same time not being able to remember where we left our cell phone this morning. And since the music of our youth is often attached to those very memories, it's always going to carry significant attachment to who you are as a person. Interestingly, it's not just our coming of age and memory attachment that influences our love of the music of our youth when we hear a song that's 20 or 30 years old. In reality, that very music actually helped form how our brain matured and how it works today. Daniel Levitin wrote the book, This Is Your Brain on Music, discussing decades of research into music we love and how it still triggers neural responses in all of us all the time. You see, the first time we hear a song we really like, it actually stimulates the auditory cortex of our brains. And it's there that we convert the rhythms and melodies into one cohesive piece of music of our mind. And if we like that song so much that we actually sang along with it, then that would activate our premotor cortex as well. Believe it or not, it goes even deeper if you ended up dancing to the song, because then both parts of your brain work together to stimulate the neurons in your body and synchronize your movements to the beat. Of course, if it's a favorite song of your youth that came during a period of high emotion, either positive or negative, whether it's falling in love or breaking up with someone, this impacts your brain in the prefrontal cortex as well. The truth is, for the most, the music that we grew up on forces activity in much of our brains during the exact same period of time when our brains are undergoing very rapid neurological development. That's right, the music of our youth was helping our brain to expand and develop at the exact time our brains needed that type of stimulation. As a consequence, this strong multisensory impact during this developmental time endears that music and emotion to our very being. And what locks all of this in place is that during that period of being a teenager, there is a blast from the growth hormones of puberty, forcing our brains to think that everything going on is somehow incredibly intense or important. Think back to your teenage years and see if you don't agree that everything and every emotion that you went through was kind of over the top compared with the emotions of later years. And that's why today, when you hear the songs of your youth, it takes you back in ways that listening to other music, no matter how great, that came out decades later, simply can't take you there. As a result, when you hear that song you once loved so much, your brain today actually starts releasing dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin, which is why you feel good listening to it again. Additionally, there are the flood of memories that were attached directly to your brain in that period of your life when you first heard that song. In the end, it was actually the internal growth and the evolution of our brains as teenagers, which was taking in that music, which stimulated so many areas of our brain. And that's the reason we still love those songs later in life. Ultimately, as we grow, we cannot remove that music because inside of our brain, those songs are actually tied to our own sense of identity. And that's why the music of our youth, even when it wasn't very good, we consider the best music that we've ever heard. Because our teenage years may well have been some of the best times we ever had in our life. So there you have it. Doing a little bit of research, doing a little bit of reading, kind of brought me a little closer to understanding. There's a lot going on back then, partly hormones and just partly life and the things going on around you. And it really is a great explanation about some of the connections that occurred that we don't realize, and then how we go into automatic pilot as we get older. Really interesting. I hope you have a comment or two towards this. It was an interesting topic to me. Let me know if it was to you and what you might think. As always, if you would subscribe if you haven't already, I appreciate it very much. And give me a thumbs up for a like. And again, comment on this if you'd like. That's always something I'm looking forward to seeing. And so until we visit next time, I want to say thank you for watching here at the Sound of Safe and Sound, Texas. Take care, everybody.